Are you one of those people that stopped playing Warzone but are now returning that verdansk is coming back? Then this video is just for you. Even if you're a seasoned pro and never stopped playing, I'm sure there's some things that can help you out in this video. The days of being a little Timmy, slowly crouch walking from building to building, moving around the map are over. The game is filled with sweaty players. Most of them with TTV and TikTok in their clan tags, moving around like they just slammed a bunch of energy drinks. This game's pacing is way faster than it used to be. Even for me, I've never stopped playing, and at times, it's hard for me to stay locked in because the game moves so fast. But lucky for you, I'm here to help. Today's video, I give you guys the absolute best settings to get you started, as well as some tips at the end, so you don't get completely overwhelmed when you first drop into verdansk, and you can start slamming other players as fast as possible. But before we get going, don't forget to like the video, click that subscribe button, because it really does help a lot. It's free. Catch you guys at the end. Now, a lot of this is going to be preference. I'm just going to go ahead and go through the ones that I think are important. All right, first one, graphic preset. If you're on console, I'm not sure this one shows up. You can kind of ignore the first one. For my PC players, this one's going to be dependent on your system. For me, I just put it on balance. Upscaling, fidelity cast. And then when I scroll down to texture, resolution, I have all my stuff set to pretty low so I can get the max FPS. Next, we're moving on to view. All right, and this one, there's only a few that I changed. The first one is going to be your FOV. By default, this is at 90. That's no good. Go and crank it up. For me, I set it at 115. It works great. Next, we're going to scroll down to camera here. And for both of these blurs, the world and the weapon, both of them, turn them off. You don't want those on. That's it for graphics. We're going to move on. The next one, we're going to move on to controller. This is the same thing. A lot of this is going to be preference, but I'm going to point out the ones that are very important. All right, one of the first important ones here. We're going to go down to horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity. And this you want to mess with until you find your sweet spot. If you're playing on mouse and keyboard, I highly suggest that you switch to controller. In this game, the aim assist is insanely strong. And if you come up against a controller player about 5 to 10 meters, unless you're a keyboard and mouse god, you're going to get slammed every single time. So again, I highly suggest you switch. Now, if you want to consider making the switch, I have a video that I made switching from keyboard and mouse to controller. I'll link it in the description. It's going to make the process of switching from keyboard and mouse to controller a lot easier. Okay, back to sensitivity. For whatever reason, they mess with the sensitivity values. I'm going to go ahead and link a chart down below. I play on a 1/6. I'm pretty sure it's equivalent to a 6. Okay, scroll down to controller vibration, turn that off. Same thing with trigger effects, turn that off. Okay, the next one is extremely important, the dead zone inputs. And I'm gonna try to explain this as simply as possible. Now, the minimums are how much tension you have to put on your stick here, your two sticks, for it to register and move your character, okay? So, for example, my left stick's at an 8. If I crank it all the way up, and then go into the firing range, look how much stick tension it takes for me to put on my controller before it registers. Here we go. Try to get on the camera here. Moving it to the left, moving it, moving it, moving it. Look at that. I almost have this thing all the way maxed out to the side before my operator even starts to move, okay? Go back to settings, back to dead zones. And now, if I crank this all the way back down to where I had it, and then go back to the fire range, now look at it. Same thing. Look at that. I'm barely putting any tension on the stick, and now my person's moving here. Now again, this is going to be something you're going to have to mess with for it to feel really comfortable for you. For me, an 8 is perfect. By default, it's at 15. I will start at 10 and work away from there. Okay, now for the right stick. If you watch other videos, a lot of people are going to tell you to put the right stick as low as possible until you start getting stick drift. Now, the stick drift is going to be depending on how old your controller is. My controller is fairly new, so I can put it down to 0 and it'll be okay. But you don't want the right stick to be super sensitive, okay? This being, okay, the right stick is what you use to move your person's aim, okay? To move your person's aim, all right? So if I put my right stick down all the way to 0 and then go back to the firing range, now if it's down at 0, your aim's gonna feel like it's super snappy, but your aim assist isn't gonna lock on. It's gonna be harder for you to stay on target and hit your shots. So again, mess with these two, go on the fire range and see what's comfortable for you. I would highly suggest you keep your right stick at 8 or above. That way your aim assist is gonna feel super sticky. Okay, moving on to aiming. Go to your sense multiplier. And the only one that I mess with is my ADS. I like mine just a little bit slower on aiming down sights. It makes me feel like I'm more accurate. And of course, both of the aim assist, leave them on. All right, the next one, aiming advanced settings. There's only 2 that I changed that are absolute game changers. Change the ADS sensitivity transition timing to instant. That way, when you're going from aim down sights to hip fire, it goes right away instant. And the next one is also very important. Now, by default, this is set to standard. Change this ASAP to dynamic. It's gonna make those close range gunfights feel that much smoother. All right, now we're moving on to movement. Now, the very first one, by default, I believe this is set to off. What this is the attack sprint from Warzone 1. It just named it different for whatever reason. All right, mantle assist, leave off. Same thing with crouch assist, leave that off. Corner slice, leave it on. That way, when you're aiming down sights, your character kind of tilts a little bit so you can see that much more. Your slide and dive behavior changes to hybrid. It makes it so much easier to slide and dive. It might take a little bit to get used to, but I promise you, it's the meta. All right, the next one, automatic airborne mantle, leave it on. Sprint restore, leave on. This is another key one right here, okay? This is set to off. By default, turn this on. What this is gonna do is when you slide and you come out of the slide, it's automatically gonna go to the sprint animation. If this is off, when you slide, he's gonna stay crouched. You're gonna move slow. You're gonna get laced. Change it. All right, the next one, parachute automatic behavior. You'll want to turn this off. By default, this is set to always. Turn it off. If this is on always, your parachute's going to automatically open to a certain point, way higher than you need to be, and you're just going to get laced out of the air. The next one, go to movement advanced settings. And the only one that I changed was the automatic door peek. What this is going to do is during ADS, it's going to automatically peek the door. It's very useful. All right, and the last one for movement, vehicle advanced settings, okay? Now, by default, this is set to aim-based controls. I don't know if you ever played Fortnite, but it's like weird. You have to like use your sticks to like go forward and backwards. It's complicated. It feels clunky. Change this to driving control. All right, next, moving on to the combat tab. There's only a couple here that I changed. The first one is automatic plate behavior. You want to change this to apply all. What this is going to do is all you have to do is push your plate button one time and it's automatically going to keep on putting plates in. Super helpful when you're moving around the map trying to finesse someone. All right, next, moving on to combat advanced settings. Go down to interact reload behavior. Change this one to prioritize interact. It's going to make looting in Warzone so much easier. And the last one, sprint cancels reload. Turn that off. All right, now into the good stuff. All right, tip number 1 is getting your aim assist to really stick to the target. Okay, whenever we come across somebody and we're shooting our gun, we never want to be standing still for 2 main reasons. Number 1, if you're standing still, you're an easy target to hit. In this game, you die extremely fast. So the more you move, the better. Reason number 2, I'm sure you're aware, but Call of Duty has something called rotational aim assist. And that aim assist does not work if you're not moving when you're shooting. So for example, I come across this dummy. When I aim down sights, when I start to shoot, I want to be moving in my left stick. That's the stick that I move, that moves your character, you know, left and right. Your left stick, you want to be moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? What works even better is if you make a quick circle as you're shooting this guy. That's really gonna get your aim assist to work. If you don't do that, your aim assist is like hardly gonna kick in. You're really not even gonna feel it. So again, I'm aiming at this dummy here. As soon as I start to shoot, moving back and forth. Back and forth. You see how the aim assist sticks to the target? All right, these first 2 targets are easy to hit. Let's go for the harder ones now. Third dummy. See how the aim assist just sticks on him? It's not moving, okay? That's because I'm rotating the stick, the rotational aim assist, all right? Now, for the right stick, this is very, very important, okay? When we start to shoot and we're moving our left stick is only used for micro adjustments, okay? Micro adjustments and controlling recoil. What I mean by micro adjustments is if the guy happens to move left or right real quick, yeah, we're gonna move our right stick, you know, to track the target, okay? Other than that, all we're gonna do is use the right stick to control the recoil. Start to shoot, it's gonna have too much recoil, it goes right up, okay? Now all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold down a little bit. Back there. And you see how much tighter the pattern is? And all I'm doing is I'm barely pulling down on the right stick, okay? So for that right stick, as soon as you start to move it off target and you start to move it a little bit too much, the aim assist, it's not gonna stick. Your aim's gonna be all over the place. We don't want that. Just come here to the firing range, shoot like 50 targets, try to keep your aim above 50%, you'll be all right. All right, tip number 2, just like when you're aiming down sights with your gun, you never wanna be standing still, even when you're just moving around the map. Like I said before, the time to kill in this game is super fast. When you're running around the open looting, you always want to be sliding, moving back and forth, just in case if there happens to be some little Timmy on a rooftop and he starts shooting at you, he's not going to just completely lace you because you're standing still. As long as you're moving around, it's going to be harder for the other person's aim assist to stick. You're going to be good to go. All right, tip number 3 is going to be sliding or jumping around, ADSing every corner. Now, this might seem a bit excessive, but believe me, there's been a lot of times where I just run around the corner, somebody happens to be there, catches me off guard, and it completely destroys me. If you slide or jump around the corner while ADSing, even if you're not expecting someone to be there, not only are you jumping or sliding around the corner, it's going to catch the other person off guard, but you're also going to be aiming down sights. That way, you're not completely caught off guard, and you can slam the person. All right, and the last tip I'm going to leave you with is just have fun. I mean, hey, verdansk is back. We've all been waiting for this, or at least I have. I'm pretty sure you, or maybe even some of your friends, stopped playing a long time ago. So now's a chance to get the old squad back together and start frying. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Again, if you consider dropping a like and subscribing, it really does help me out. So close to getting 100 subs. And also, let me know down in the comments, where are you going to drop at? Me personally, I'm probably going to drop Damn. I love that play. Until next time, I appreciate you guys. For two main reasons. Raisins.